Yeah, well, I had really many good friends, but I'll always remember once I was finished at the clinic and I swam every day, and I came out, it was snowing like heck, and I came and I found I had a flat tire, and I'm looking at it, and some little captain came up who I'd never seen before, and he said, "Are you having trouble?" And I said, "Yeah, I have a flat tire." Well, he took off his hat and coat. It was snowing. He took my old tire off, took it off, and replaced it with my spare, and that's how I met Philip Passantino, and we remained real good friends until he passed away last year. Being captain, I didn't get called very often to the clinic, and my evenings were free. My weekends were fairly free, but they'd call me if something unusual happened, and I got a call one night. There was a body on the bottom of the pool in our swimming pool, which was open for enlisted people and anybody, and retirees. And they called me, and there was a body on the bottom of the pool with just a pair of trunks on and no identification. And I called poor Ron here, and I said, I explained, and I said, "We can do it here, or we can call the city." He said, "By all means, call the city," which I did. But the only way we could find out who this body belonged to was, I said, "Everybody go to the lockers and get your clothes on. The locker that remains locked will most likely be his," and that was the case. We opened the locker and we found he was a retired, and never did find out. They thought maybe he dove into the pool and flexed his neck too bad, but he was dead. And I'd be called only for rapes and for deaths and for odd incidents like that. Time I remember, I'd drive in and they'd salute and they'd say, "Good morning, Captain," and all of a sudden they had some incident that was somewhere, and they got very eager at the gate, and they stopped me and they said, "Good morning, Captain, let me see your ID." And I said, "What?" Because we said hello to each other every morning for years, and all of a sudden he says, "Good morning, Captain, let me see your ID." But I understood why. And then I remember once I had rifles and I used to hunt, and I had a beautiful rifle, and I had a patient who had one leg blown off at Vietnam, but he was a gunsmith, and he was a patient. And I said, "I'd like you to take my rifle and sight it in, and I'm going hunting." And he said, "Great." And he took my rifle, and then, by God, I came to the base, and he gave me the rifle, and I put it in my trunk, and the guard at the gate saw this, and he came running up, and he's really upset because I had a rifle. It was in a case, and we had a little discussion before he thought it was all right, but it was interesting. This young man was a very nice young man. He had a card that said "1 step beyond" on it, and he did well with one leg.
I asked that because
I remember once they brought one of my corpsmen brought his fellow corpsman, and he had a broken nose, and I said, "What the hell happened?" And he said, "We were just walking in the base, and 2 Marines came up and one decked him. There was no incident, they didn't know why, but I trained with the Marines, and I served with them in the amphibious force. And I loved them, but they were very odd people. He just walked up and banged this guy in the nose without a word.